Mario Kart, the party game known for bringing friends together, friendly banter, and that unique Nintendo charm, where no position is guaranteed and the results of each race are determined by just as much luck as it is skill. But what if this innocent looking kids game held a darker secret? Mario can be seen as a tragic retelling of life and humanity as a whole, which is a part of what enabled it to capture generations of people throughout the last half a century. Now I know, this is a big statement, and some of you might be thinking I'm being a little bit dramatic, but I was once just like you, humble viewer. I too only played Mario Kart with family and friends occasionally, or at group parties as a hobby. And it's until I got my latest job, which while currently having me feeling like I'm on the 7th layer of Dante's Inferno, does have Mario Kart 8 for us to play. So it's safe to say I've been putting my dues into this game as a result. Lunch after lunch, I grinded this game with the solitary goal being to get a gold star in every race. Not just the Grand Prix, but every individual circuit. I needed to come first all the way clean or nothing at all. With this single focus in mind, I set off on my quest. Day after day, plugging away at Mario Kart 8. I found my mind experiencing a tranquil fluidity that I had previously only felt in deep meditation. It was then that I realized something. I wasn't just playing a video game, I was experiencing life itself through the screen. In Mario Kart, the random items you get are not decided by a complete roll of the dice. The motive of the game is to make a fun and competitive race for its players. So it's not very stimulating if you have too big of a lead, which means items are more a way to level the playing field when someone's far ahead. Meaning you're more likely to get something like a bullet bill or a lightning when you're far behind. Or most importantly, a blue shell is more likely to be thrown when you're in the lead. This layer of complexity adds tension to the races, while the consequences are mostly manageable. A bullet bill or a star typically only results in one player going ahead of you. Even a lightning or a squid affects every player excluding the user, so it's not much of an advantage if you're in the lead. Now this does mimic life in some way. There are definitely negative events and excuses we can all use to justify our successes and failures. Much like Mario Kart, the only way to truly move forward from these detractors is to learn to drift along the road of life with them. While some will adapt and overcome with little difficulty, others will allow it to derail their entire race, blaming the same afflictions and consequences that others faced and overcame. But the story of Mario Kart is not always one of triumph and victory. There is a sinister prevailing force that I believe mimics the tides of life perfectly, in a way that I have not seen recreated in any other form of media. The blue shell. This simple, iconic piece of history is something that has stapled itself into popular culture, responsible for more gamer rage and broken friendships than League of Legends.
I want to be in first!
It is an equalizing tool made explicitly to target those in first place, incredibly difficult to avoid and has a devastating impact on your lap times. A force to be reckoned with, the blue shell is not dispersed lightly. It is very rare to see two in one race, and even rarer still to have one released early on. There will be some tracks where none are thrown at all, but on those laps where you've been in first place for a little bit too long, and there hasn't been a blue for the entire race, when you're just waiting for when that warning sign shows on your screen, hoping you can make it to the next question mark, and possibly, by some miracle, get an item that can counteract the shell, knowing the attempt is futile. That despair, that sense of dread, is something that I've only felt when I walk into work for the day, knowing I cannot quit, knowing that the only thing I can keep doing is what I'm doing now, applying for roles outside the company, hoping something better will take me along, secretly hoping to get fired because the unemployment would pay more than working here, but trying not to make it too obvious to my boss. There was one particular race that stood out to me in the cart. It was a circuit I had played a couple of times before. I'd come pretty close to beating it the first few times. The track was easy, almost too easy. I glided through my competition with relative ease, casually using the drift functions and power-ups to slide beyond and stay ahead. It was a circuit lap, so I could quite easily see myself overtake the competition. But there was a problem. The pit of my stomach was upset. The feeling grew with each lap. As I maintained my lead, I knew my fate would still change. I did the best that I could. I hoarded mushrooms in order to at least try the method of escape possible in Mario Kart Wii. I cycled through my item box, dropping coins and bananas in the desperate hope I would gain something with which to fend off the incoming attack. Then, on the final straightaway, it happened. The familiar warning sounds blared through the speakers. I ran at the corner and there my goal was, just in sight. Just outside my reach, it looked so beautiful. I was so close. My attacker circled overhead and dropped. The familiar explosion blared on the screen. Maybe this isn't so bad, I thought. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty far ahead. And surely I'd done enough to still be able to cinch a first place finish. As my character flipped through the air, I had dashed away any and all hope. Diddy Kong raced past me to the first place. When I got my hands on the wheel, two more characters bumped past me. I had slipped to fifth, and being so close to my goal, there was absolutely nothing that I could do to regain my position. I didn't even cross the finish line before I quit the game and went outside. Broken, ashamed, alone. The feelings and emotions I got from this experience mimicked much of my worst real-life moments. It is one thing to be in a slump, but it always seems the worst only follows the best in life. With the most traumatic and tragic events seemingly happening on schedule, one right after another, taking away your greatest accomplishments almost on cue. Maybe I should have stayed back, I thought. Since I felt that the shell was coming, I should have planned ahead and gone slower. But then again, what is the point of a racing game where you try to come in second? That's no race at all. Plus, either way, there was also a chance that there could have been no blue shell during the race, and I could have sabotaged myself for nothing. Alas, what is a life where one does not venture ever onward, and is afraid to chase their heart's desires, condemning themselves to a life of mediocrity and static being? Even still, a life or a standard life is no guarantee at all. One might be sick or be in an accident early on, which could derail the plans for the rest of your life. What good is a 401k when you're dead? These are hard questions and complex thoughts. It's just not something I think would occur to me while playing Mario Kart. Now, it is easy to think that things like this should not be so deeply looked into. It's just a game, or I'm giving it too much importance. But in my eyes, all of it is a part of nature itself, and we can learn just as much from a roundabout on the track as we can in a messy divorce. We just have to tune our eyes and ears correctly, and listen to the waves of the form. They do say life imitates art after all. Or possibly, this is all an imprinting of my own mind and feelings about my workplace onto the random game in the break room. I guess I will never really know, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If the lessons that it teaches me are real and I become a better person for it. Hopefully, one day, when you're playing Mario Kart at a birthday party, laughing and having a good time with your friends, this video will pop into your mind and it'll let you take a deeper breath and enjoy the moment for what it is. Humanity's futile struggle against ourselves and the awareness of our own existence. A never-ending, ceaseless battle, where the only way to win is to enjoy the time you spend. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe.